Um, I don't know if any of you guys remember this, but I'm just gonna talk about it. Um, this happened no, it wasn't that long ago. Maybe it was 6 months ago. So Trey Songz had I don't know, he was in some club. And let's give some context on like where I personally stand. Um, because so many people are under this impression that like all black people move the same and feel the same way. And let me just bust some myths. First of all, I have never been a Trey Songz fan. Never been a fan of his music. Never been a fan. I don't even find him physically attractive. This is why I've never followed him on any social media. Nothing like. Never gone to a Trey Songz album. Never downloaded a Trey Songz song. Nothing. At least with Chris Brown, I find Chris Brown attractive. Well, maybe after the tattoos and stuff, I feel like he looks sort of zombie-ish, but like before that, back when Chris Brown had the yo thing going on and he was just like kind of this like cool, swanky, like dude, I like Chris Brown. Now I feel like, yeah, he looks kind of like a zombie, but whatever. Um, so going back to Ugly Trey Songs. So he had a section in a club. Okay, and there was a girl. And this is like a very pretty black girl. She was just like in the club. I think this is in Atlanta, so she's in the club where he is. So he's got a section. Now, in the section, I'm not positive, I wasn't there, and the TikTok wasn't that descriptive, but it kind of felt like there were like lighter skinned people or like white girls in the section. And she like went over and I guess started talking to him and was like, "Oh, I would like to join the section." And he was like, "No, I don't like weak women here. No thanks. You're easy," or something. And so there had been a whole history of like I guess him discriminating against darker skinned black women for whatever reason. Um, First of all, to group any group as a monolith, like if you think all girls who look a particular way are one way, that's a problem. Okay, with you, it's just all so frustrating. Okay, so every girl is different. Every girl is different. And the weird part about like rappers and white women, not to be funny, but you have to understand that if white women are resorting to black men, because black rappers, in terms of like finance and lifestyle, are on the same par with like average white dudes. Like earlier this week when I told you guys that story of how I went to Pushing Daisies and I showed you guys how we were pouring the drinks. The dudes that I was like hanging out with that night are on par with some of the rappers. Like they probably earn the same amount of money, they have the same amount of connections. So if white dudes aren't choosing those girls and they have like their down bad is being in Trey Songz's circle section. From what I've known about, like I feel like I'm equal. Well, I don't know. I feel like there's much stuff about Black society right now that I don't understand because I don't roll in poverty circles. But like I do understand quite a lot about white culture, and first of all, like just how you grow up matters so much. Like your story really matters. Like that's why we're not gonna say I don't like when people ghettoize everyone, but like this is why I had to make that video where we unpacked Anika's character in Grownish as her not being ghetto. She's just like lower middle class, but lower middle class is not the same as like food stamps Corday, who grew up in like public housing. This nigga didn't even have electricity. Anika and Corday are not the same type of poor. Like when your parents have a job and your parents don't have a job, that's a different sort of living. And I think that some of y'all are confused. I'm not really sure about the story of Drake growing up with no refrigerator. I'm not doing that research, but like all of those stories I still can't relate to because that wasn't my personal situation. But moving on. Um where were we? We were talking about Trey Songz and his section. So this girl gets on TikTok and she's just so sad. She's like, "Oh my god, I really wanted to go in Trey Songz section and he didn't let me in." Most of the time in sections, people just like pretty girls there. So I don't know. I feel like on any metric, it was weird for him not to let a pretty girl. Like she was like really pretty. She wasn't just like, "Oh, I put on some makeup." Like she was actually really pretty. Um, I don't even know like what else to say. She's a really pretty girl, wanted to get into the section. There was not really any reason that he wouldn't let her into the section besides maybe he just doesn't like black girls, which is the thing. And I'm not even trying to knock him for his preferences. Bro, you get to have your preferences. All I'm saying is like when ugly niggas have preferences, that is a sort of irony I will never personally understand. Like I can't, it doesn't make sense in my like field of logic. Like I'm lost. I can't, I just, this is another reason why I just think it's so important. Like black women have to have their own money. Like you can't play. It's like it's so the it's not even a game. It's just like a poverty trap or something. Like a I hate you bubble. That's an awful way to say that. And I hate you bubble. But kind of, right? It's kind of an I hate you bubble. Whatever. I think I'm gonna just go sweat for an hour and then go to work, but that's pretty much what I had to say today.